Look at the housing market, and particularly what impacts lower income. The people that borrow today are lower income, and they're adversely infected by where these rates are. If we get the rate down, you actually can bring home prices down, you build more houses, you'll actually reduce inflation. So I think it's quite consistent to bring the interest rate down, even though the economy is operating at a pretty good level. Where we're going is to a lower level of inflation, and I think we can bring it down. I mean, you think about inflation break evens today, depending on which part of the curve, are 2.5 to 2.75. So the funds rate, even if you bring it down to 3.25, you're still above the rate of inflation. So I think we got plenty of room to drop it, even though the economy's operating well.
Hey, what's going on, bull runners? Welcome back to the channel. It's time to buckle up because today's news is shaking the market and you need to know what's happening before it's too late. Imagine this: billions of dollars in XRP could flood the market. A top Bitcoin analyst dropped a bombshell about the end of the wild crypto swings, and one of the biggest names in finance is beginning to call the Fed to slash rates. These stories aren't just headlines. They could change how you trade, invest, and even hodl onto your portfolio. The crypto world moves very fast, and missing these updates could mean missing out on massive opportunities or avoiding costly mistakes. Stick with me as we break it down, why these stories matter and how they could impact you and your wallet. Plus, here's the kicker. Stick with me until the end. I'm going to give you an exclusive sneak peek into a secret crypto group that's buzzing with insider tips that you won't find anywhere else. Plus, we will be heading over to X to find out all of the important information you need to know about the crypto world today. We're going to head over to Forex Factory and find out the red folder news in the financial markets that you need to know about this upcoming week. And we'll dive into this interesting story about parabolic bull markets and devastating bear markets being over. And we'll dive deeper into XRP holders' concerns over Chris Larson. Is he here to hurt us? Or is there a deeper meaning behind the transfer? Plus, we will be jumping into the XRP charts, looking for the next level for resistance and support that you need to know about, plus long-term and short-term momentum waves. We'll also be checking in on our spider lines to see how that is playing out, and so much more in today's video. So if you're like most people where you don't have the opportunity to spend hours a day in the crypto news like we do for you every single day on this channel, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out. And also, if you are still feeling bullish about this current bull run, let me know by commenting 777 down below. First things first, let's head over to CoinMarketCap, check out the overall health of the crypto market today. As you can see, we are currently trading at 3.88 trillion total market cap. We are up 0.76%. So it's interesting because we got to that $4 trillion mark finally, exactly, and then the prices broke down, but we are starting to make that surge back to the upside.
Have you built a crypto portfolio over $1 million but want to access your wealth without selling any of your coins? Well, imagine unlocking up to 85% of your portfolio's value to fund ventures like real estate, to buy other projects in the crypto space that are undervalued compared to the projects that you currently hold, or to diversify into different DeFi yield opportunities. That way you can live on the interest without selling any of your crypto. Well, we've partnered with a leading global office offering non-recourse crypto loans for investors with portfolios starting at $1 million. The same company that is trusted by the world's largest institutions and investors, because as you already know, the billionaires don't sell their crypto, they borrow against it. So if you're ready to unlock up to 85% of your portfolio's value without selling any of your coins, and you have a portfolio with at least $1 million, then email us at team@bullrunners.com. You're going to see our email contact in the description below, and we'll get you connected with the company that has helped clients like ours north of $100 million borrow against their crypto without selling any of it. So reach out to start a conversation with our team right now at team@bullrunners.com, and we'll talk to you soon.
Today's 24-hour volume total is $122 billion worth of trading. Fear and Greed Index coming in at 64 out of the 100. Altcoin season just barely spiked above 50 a couple of days ago to 55, but now it's fallen back into Bitcoin season, where 43 out of 100. Bitcoin dominance has been cooling off significantly from 66%, now at 60%. Last week, we were actually under 60% for a couple of days, which was very positive, which led to this rally in the altcoin season right here, as you can see. We also have Ethereum really starting to make some gain against this crazy Bitcoin dominance. Taking a look at the Bitcoin ETF tracker, if you didn't pay attention last week, it was a lackluster week for Bitcoin inflows. It was still positive, so that is positive. $144 million worth of inflows into Bitcoin ETFs, but take a look at Ethereum. Ethereum on the rip to the upside, 2 weeks in a row, over $1 billion worth of inflows. 2 weeks ago, $2.1 billion, and last week, $1.3 billion. So exciting times for Ethereum for sure. Top 6 cryptos by total market cap. Bitcoin number 1 at 117,960. Number 2, Ethereum at 3744. Number 3, XRP at $3.17. Number 4, Tether at $1. Number 5, BNB at $796. And number 6, Solana at $185. Ladies and gentlemen, prepare for an epic week of volatility coming along, because in traditional finance and in the crypto markets, we're going to see so much red folder news that it's going to send the markets crazy every single day, starting on Tuesday with the JOLTS job openings. Then on Wednesday, we're going to have non-farm payroll change. We're going to have advanced GDP. We're going to have federal funds rate. This is the big one that we've been talking about. This one is the most important one. Right now, it is currently scheduled and forecasted for a 4.5%, which is where it's been. But as we know, Jerome Powell versus Donald Trump on this federal funds rate, or the interest rates for the country. Donald wants it at 1%. Jerome Powell likes it at 4.5%. As you saw in the intro, we'll get into that video a little deeper here in a minute. They're saying 3.25%, but that is going to be happening on Wednesday. FOMC statement will come out and the FOMC press conference. So he's going to announce that we're staying at 4.5. Then he's going to come out and give an actual press conference. And then the market's going to do this during the press conference. It's always wild and crazy. So be prepared for Wednesday. Thursday, we're going to have PCE, core price inflation information. We're going to have employment cost index. And then we're going to have, this is always important for the Bitcoin price and all cryptos follow it, unemployment claims. The last couple of weeks have been absolutely spectacular for our economy, having really positive unemployment claims. We're having a forecast of 222,000. Anything less than that is positive news. We're also going to have on Friday average hourly earnings month over month, non-farm employment change information, and then we'll have the actual unemployment rate coming out on Friday. And we're also going to get manufacturing inflation information. So huge, huge news next week. Headed over to X, find out that breaking news happening right now. I want you guys to head over to our page on X at BULLRUNNERS HQ. We are giving away $100 worth of XRP every Sunday at midnight. Congratulations to Rose Cut 8 for winning last week's guide. All you have to do is follow us here on X, like, retweet, and comment this post that you're going to see pinned to the account, and then subscribe to our daily crypto newsletter. It is free. You just click the link. You're also going to get a free ebook, Altcoin Secrets, the underground guide to becoming a crypto millionaire. Click the orange button. Enter your best email. Click the orange button again, and you're all set. All right, so as you saw in the intro of the video, our other team, Altcoin Pro, you can follow them as well. They do a phenomenal job. It's Altcoin Pro _. But as you can see right here, BlackRock's CIO, Rick Rieder, calls on the Fed to cut rates. So now you're starting to see massive corporations also agreeing with Trump that the rates should be coming down. So $11.5 trillion demanding action. Pressure is mounting. As you all know, BlackRock has extreme pull worldwide with basically anything they want to get done. That's why everyone's really excited for XRP Army to finally get the application from BlackRock for the BlackRock ETF for XRP. Hopefully that's coming soon too. But in the meantime, we have XRP ETF filings with the SEC. So we have the Bitwise, the Canary Capital, the 21 shares, the Wisdom Tree, the Pro shares, the Grayscale, the Coin shares, Volatility share, Franklin Templeton, Hashdex, and TuiCrim. So you saw me a couple of segments ago talking about the ETF inflows to Bitcoin and Ethereum. Remember, that is retail traders. So retail traders, regular people, average every day that are scared to get into crypto through the crypto centralized exchanges, they'll just call their stockbroker or their 401k team, and they'll talk to them and be like, hey, I want to be getting some exposure to crypto. Buy me some ETFs for Bitcoin or Ethereum. Well, soon they're going to be saying, buy me some ETFs for XRP. And then we're going to have billions of dollars worth of volume flowing into the XRP ETFs. Now, speaking of liquidity flowing into the crypto markets, $1.9 billion is coming back into the crypto markets. FTX just got court approval to release another round of repayments. The record date for eligible claims is the August 15th distributions, and they will start September 30th. A fresh wave of liquidity could obviously help continue the pump of the market. Now, there was some major FUD going around today on X. It was absolutely crazy. People were losing their mind because former SEC chairman Gary Gensler to join BlackRock as chief crypto advisor. People were saying, but people were not paying attention. It says watcher Buru, B-U-R-U. You got to be careful out there on X. Make sure you're following the legit verified accounts. As you can see here, Watcher Guru, they do an amazing job. By the way, if you're not following them on x.com, go follow them. But it says, warning, these fake accounts impersonating us, spreading false reports under our name, and many users are falling for this. Please stay vigilant and block these accounts. Now, obviously, for everybody in the XRP army, I follow a ton, and a ton of people follow me on X that are related to the XRP army, and they lost their mind. Like, they was going pretty crazy because, as you know, we do not have any love lost for Gary Gensler. That guy is an absolute you-know-what, and we do not want him anywhere near money. I also saw this post from Cobb, pretty hilarious here. XRP last week, when XRP got back to $3, everyone's all looking good, feeling fresh, driving their Lambos. And then obviously we had this massive pullback back because we sprung all the way up to $3.60, having this pullback to $3, and now people are losing it. They're thinking it's over. They're thinking XRP's going back to 50 cents. Like, chill out. It's going to be all right. Bullish news coming out. Bitwise CIO says that their 4-year crypto cycle is dead, replaced by a sustained boom driven by ETFs, institutions, and post-Genius Act flows. And we're going to dive deeper into that in the actual article here in a couple of minutes. And also, kind of really big important news here, JP Morgan starting to move closer and closer to getting on board with crypto. But JP Morgan says crypto stablecoins will be integrated with the traditional financial system, as well as more tokenization of real-world assets. Now, if you remember, just last week, Jamie Dimon came out and said, I hate crypto. It's never going to amount to anything. It's a big, giant scam. And literally less than 7 days later, now JP Morgan's reporting they're going to have to join the masses because this is where crypto is going. And if you're wondering what the heck was going on over the last couple of days in the crypto market, how did Bitcoin fall so severely? Well, Galaxy Digital has sold 70,000 of the 80,000 Bitcoin that they had on the open market. So they were dumping this on the open market. People were losing their minds. It was getting pretty scary. It was $9 billion worth of Bitcoin sold, but it was purchased and bought, and we did finally hit a bottom, which was very interesting. But 70,000 Bitcoins, people were starting to talk trash on this guy who sold 80,000 Bitcoins to Galaxy Digital. Why would you do that? You're going to be in generational wealth. You're going to be so rich. It's crazy. Why would you sell them? Well, you know what? He just made $9 billion. He's going to be super wealthy. That's like an epic amount of money. He can go do whatever he wants. He's going to have set for life money. He can put that in an easy, low interest bearing account and just be rich off of rich and just live off of interest. It's going to be absolutely crazy. So big ups to this guy. He bought 80,000 Bitcoin for $54,000 14 years ago. Sells them off, now a multi-billionaire. So let's jump into our first headline here. XRP wallet linked to Chris Larsen still has $9 billion left to sell. XRP selling pressure could mushroom if the recent $50 billion XRP sale from a wallet linked to Chris Larsen was just the warm-up. So Chris Larsen sold a junk ton of XRP literally at the peak top just a couple of days ago, July 17th, when XRP was $3.60. And Chris Larsen still holds 2.5 billion XRP, which is worth $8.8 billion. That's nearly 5% of XRP's total market cap. And this massive stash could create serious selling pressure if more is offloaded. XRP dropped 13% from its recent high of $3.65 to around $3.10, then all the way down to $3 after these transfers, sparking fears among investors that they could be exit liquidity for big players like Chris Larsen. And why this matters so much is large whale moves like this can tank prices, especially in markets as volatile as crypto. If Larsen were to keep selling, it could cap XRP's upside, even with its recent rally. On the flip side, though, some argue that he's just redistributing tokens for decentralizations, which could stabilize XRP in the long run. For traders, this is a signal to watch XRP's price closely. We've got support at $3, which is key, but a break below this could mean more pain. So investors need to weigh the risks of insider selling against XRP's strong fundamentals, like Ripple's growing institutional adoption. So do you think Larson's selling is a red flag, or is XRP still a buy? Drop your thoughts down in the comments. So is it possible that devastating bear markets are over forever? Well, there's a Bitcoin analyst that claims the days of massive crypto booms and brutal crashes are done. And this comes as Bitcoin's hovering near that $114,000 mark after the recent dip from its all-time high of $123,000. The analyst's argument likely ties to increased regulation, institutional adoption, and maturing markets, reducing wild volatility that we've seen in past cycles like 2017 or 2021. And the reason this matters, if this is true, it could mean steadier gains for Bitcoin, but fewer chances for like a 10x or 100x returns that lured many into crypto in the beginning. For long-term investors, a more stable market might be safer but less thrilling. Traders, however, might need to pivot to shorter-term strategies or altcoins for bigger swings. But this shift could also cool off retail hype, impacting how new investors actually enter the space. So keep an eye on Bitcoin's price action. We got $114. It's a crucial level to watch for a rebound or a further drop. Do you agree that crypto's wild days are over? Yes or no? Let me know in the comment section. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into XRP in the charts. As you can see here, we're on the weekly time frame. This is our weekly spider lines. I got this idea from CryptoFace on YouTube. So we're going to dive deeper into it. Essentially, you take the Ray tool and draw a line from the candle tops on the drop down, have a pivot point in the future, which we're using April 12th, 2021, which was the high, and you shoot out a support and resistance line into the future, and they've been spot on. So as we zoom out and take a look at our price where we're at right now, the weekly candle will be coming to an end in 23 hours. So tomorrow, the weekly candle will be over. Now, a couple of things that we're paying attention to, let's go ahead and hide these lines here. On our short-term momentum waves, we had this deep reset for quite some time. It lasted weeks and weeks, but we finally broke out to the upside, and we do have room to run. So we still have room to the upside for positive gains for XRP's weekly charts, which is very positive. We take a look at the 3-day charts, and they are maxed out. They literally just reached their peak. The most exciting thing for XRP Army is the fact that our daily charts have our long-term momentum wave is very bullish, right? So we broke above the zero line back here. This is where we started getting really bullish. July 2nd, we were actually bearish, riding this out for quite some time, finally broke back above it on the daily charts to the upside. This is our long-term momentum indicator. So it's over time. This one is quicker, shorter cycles. But as you can see, when you just pay attention to it, it went from bearish to bullish, and it remained there for several days. It remained there during this entire push to the upside. But recently, we just started having this small reset to the downside, which is positive because when this comes down, resets to zero and makes its way back to the upside, as you can see right here, we have price doing a pullback, filling in the fair value gap, coming into this area here of supply and demand. If we take the look at the Heikinashi candles, we turn it onto the 4-hour, and we can see right here, this was the move up, and then the little rest spot here, the move up, and little rest spot. Well, these rest spots are going to be where price will generally come back to. So what we like to do is take the opportunity to go and chart this out, right? So we have this green move to the upside, the last green candle before the downside, which brings us all the way down to here. But are we going to get here? No. So we'll delete that. Let's jump over to a cleaner chart here. Then we'll get back over there. But as we can see, so price came up here. We got this area of interest right there. And then we have another area of interest right here. So these are the last green candles before the down move and then an up. And we could even do that for our high because where is price going to run into resistance? So this is where we're at right now. So price came in, look at this, right here into our supply and demand zone. Turn this back on to the 4-hour candles. You can see even the bodies closed exactly on that spot. It didn't even break into there. So we're starting to make this move back to the upside. And if we're taking a look here on the 4-hour, we look at our long-term momentum wave that we were just talking about on the other charts. We were riding green, riding green, riding green, riding green, looking really nice. Boom, we broke down short term, starting to turn red. Now we're starting to curve back up, and we're getting very close. In fact, once we break above this zero line again, definitely would be on its way back up to this level. It's going to run into some resistance at $3.40, $3.43 really. Then we can see the surge to break above this 364. And then we go into price discovery mode again. So like I said, on the daily charts here again, this is really nice. Price came down on our short-term momentum. It's coming down for the reset, starting to make its turn back to the upside. When we turn back our lines on, you can see we had already drawn this right here, that this was going to happen. Short-term momentum is going to come down, reset. It's going to get really bullish back to the upside. So the good news is we did come bounce off of our spider line support here, our yellow line. Spider line support, you can see we drew this one 2 days ago. Price came down, bounced off this level, which is the $3.10 level. It's making its way back up. It does need to break above the 10 exponential moving average on the daily. And then it also needs to break above this 322, which is a spider line from the past as well. But what's interesting as far as the spider lines go, when we had that move all the way up to our all-time high of $3.40, that's exactly where it rejected off, came down. Then it made this move all the way back up here to our new all-time high, $3.55, where it rejected exactly, and then it kind of bounced around this area. But the body, we have not had a body close against this spider line. Now, this spider line, like I mentioned earlier, it comes to us from 2018, and it's actually the candle from the week of March 19th. The candle from the week of March 19th drawn into the future is currently where we're hitting as a resistance for now. So once we break that level, which now we get a body close, this is in the $3.56 range, then we're going to be moving up into here, which is $3.87 range. So that's what we're keeping an eye on for price predictions in the short term. Now, we do have some significantly higher levels up here as well. So as we take a look right here, $4.86. Then we have $5.55. Then we have way up here and another spider line all the way up here, which is the $30 mark. Now, that is the last peak of the weekly candles drawn to that level, like I was saying. So let's go ahead. I'll show you again. We're going to turn on Heikin-Ashi candles. We're going to turn on logarithmic. This is the way it works. Okay. And then we're going to take the tops of the candle peaks. So this was a top of the candle peak, and we drew that one there. Let's draw another one into the future so we can get an idea. There is probably going to be some other pricing. So for example, this move to the upside before breakdown, we're going to use that top. We're going to shoot this one into the future using that middle point. We're going to go ahead and change this to a dashed line so you can tell which one it is. Turn logarithmic back off, reset our candles, and then we're going to go take a look at where this one's going into the future. And so when we pencil this one in, this one gets us up into the $15 range. So we got this one at 15, this one all the way up at 30. And there's a lot more to draw out, right? As you can see, there's a peak here, a peak here, a peak here. But right now we are playing around in these levels. So again, this candle is the one we're bouncing off right now, March 19th, the weekly candle of March 19th. Let's go ahead and draw this weekly candle. So this was on the way down this whole way to the very bottom. We were using every candle except for these couple here. Let's go ahead and use this one now. We'll go ahead and draw one off of this candle body top to the center line, our pivot point. We're going to have to change our color, obviously. Let's do yellow dash lines. And then we're going to go to the present day. We'll go up into pricing where we're at. So that yellow one is actually below the red dotted line that we have. Let's switch to the daily candles, switch to traditional dailies. So what's interesting, look at this, guys. So we hadn't drawn this one out. We could be more detailed and draw them all out. I just didn't want it to be too busy, but price ran up to the yellow or red dotted line, came down and bounced as a support off of that yellow dotted line. All right, let's head over to Bitcoin and take a look at what can be going on with Bitcoin right now. So obviously we've had this really nice, steady, consistent consolidation period for a couple of days now, starting to get a nice little trend line going here. So we're going to use this one. We'll make it like that. Then we'll have this one like that. So we got a bull flag playing out for us as well. So let's go from the bottom of this level to the breakout there. And then we'll go ahead and just move this. So once we break out of this thing, which breakout will be about here. In fact, that pinch point is coming up, right? So there's not many days left to go out. And we've already sucked down and busted out the liquidity to the downside. So let's see a breakout to the upside. When we look at the flag pole breaking out of the flag itself, getting us to a target level of $134. So we'll keep that in mind for Bitcoin. Ethereum's doing something very similar. Now, we already called this one out quite some time ago, and this was on the weekly charts. It was a bull flag for the weekly. So like we just discussed on the daily flag for the Bitcoin. Well, right here, you can see the flagpole that we already placed was from the bottom of this bottom here and the move up, and then it created, this one wasn't a pennant, it was just the square flag. It had a liquidity grab up, liquidity grab down, but it broke out. And if we go from the breakout point to where the extension goes to, it is also into our supply and demand zone right here. As you can see, price is getting right into that zone. Switch it back to daily. So you can see price got really close, had a pullback to the 10 exponential moving average, and now it's trying to surge up into the bottom of this supply and demand zone here, 38.82. The top of it gets us to 41.06, and that's exactly where our bull flag plays out for Ethereum. So we'll continue to keep an eye on the Ethereum bull flag playing that full pattern out, which is also good news because now we have a bull flag pattern that's going to be playing out for Bitcoin as well.
Hey, bull runners, check this out. If you want to learn how to find the next 10x, 50x, or even 100x altcoin in this video, listen to this. Our research team posted GOAT on the 13th of October of 2024 when it was right at a penny, and since then it rallied to over $1 and is currently still up over 5,000%. That's like turning $1,000 into over $50,000. Our team called Pendle at only a $16 million market cap, or 16 cents, back on February 18th of 2023, all the way back here, and since then it's rallied up over 4,000%. That's a 40x. It's like turning $1,000 into over $40,000. Our team also called BitTensor Tau September 15th, 2022, before the token was ever even launched. And since then, Tau has rallied over 2,000%. That's a 20x. Our team even said Solana is most likely to be one of the easiest trades next year, and this was posted December 29th, 2022, on the day that Solana bottomed out at around $8. And since then, Solana looks like it's up over 2,500%. That's a 25x. It's like turning $1,000 into over $25,000. And the bull run is just getting started. The list goes on and on and on. Our team called Sui, Ondo, and even some of the biggest cult-based meme coins like MOG back in July 20th of 2023, the day that MOG launched. So if you want to learn how our team is finding these altcoins before they explode, we just launched Altcoin Pro University, where our research team gives you real-time altcoin picks with explosive potential for this bull run, along with 100+ expert curated classes crafted by industry experts to discover these gems yourself, on top of our live weekly calls every single week for in-depth crypto market analysis and daily updates. And that's just a fraction of what we offer inside of Altcoin Pro University. Just go through the link in the description below, get in right now, watch the 26-minute video covering everything that Altcoin Pro University offers.